$11.42. That isn't your emergency fund. It is everything left in your checking account at 3:15 a.m., while the cold glow of your phone illuminates the peeling ceiling of a room you share with two strangers. You stare at that number, not with anger, but in a hypnotic trance, calculating for the fifth time if the fuel left in your tank will last until Friday's paycheck. You are 23 years old, with credit card debt at an interest rate you can't even mention, without feeling a tightness in your chest. You tell yourself you aren't behind, but math is an engine, roaring beneath your every move. When you are at zero, money isn't a choice. It is oxygen. You either breathe or you drown. And sometimes you only realize which state you're in when something breaks. And something always breaks. The alternator in the car, an infected tooth, an unexpected $600 fine that you simply cannot pay. You put it on the card, feeling the weight of the chain grow a little thicker around your neck. You eat instant noodles for 2 weeks and feel neither pride nor shame. You simply execute the arithmetic of survival. But then, a glitch in the system happens. A $210 refund from an insurance policy you didn't even remember paying for. Instead of spending it, you move it to an account you swear never to touch. You don't call it savings. You call it nothing. This is ground zero. It isn't a vision of the future. It's a small act of rebellion against the chaos. You get a promotion, but the raise is swallowed by the cost of living that spikes the following month. You learn the first law of the bottom. The cost of living is a gas that expands to fill any space you create for it. You only stop being surprised when you start building walls around your money before the bills can find it. At 26, you finally see your credit card balance hit zero. You take a screenshot and send it to no one, because no one would understand the exhaustion that number cost you. For the first time, you feel something called agency, the sense that a decision you made changed reality rather than the other way around. You start studying how money moves. Not the empty motivational quotes, but the mechanics of compound interest and how fees erode the future. You open a brokerage account and deposit your first $1,000. The market drops, you panic, but you don't sell. That is the real decision. At 30, you hit $50,000. You do what you were told. Emergency fund, monthly contributions, a simple life. But as you run the numbers on a spreadsheet for the next 30 years, you discover the bitter truth. A salary is a velvet leash. It keeps you safe, but it never lets you run. You start a side project, something you tell no one about for fear of failing in public. That project starts earning $500, then $2,000 a month. The day it pays your rent without you having to get out of bed, you understand what an asset is. Your relationship with time changes. You stop going to parties, stop answering every invitation. You become someone difficult. You are building something in a room that no one else can see. At 35, your net worth crosses $300,000. Your money finds its own voice. It now has preferences. You stop asking if you can afford something and start asking where that capital will be most efficient. You lose $20,000 on a bad bet, and for the first time, you don't lose sleep. You understand that wealth doesn't come from avoiding risk, but from choosing which risks are worth your life. At 40, you hit your first million. It's a Wednesday afternoon. There is no music, no party, just a data point on a screen that proves the system works. But you realize that $1 million isn't freedom. It's just the beginning of the real climb. At 50, you have $12 million. You stop talking about money with those who don't have it, not out of arrogance, but because your reality has become a dialect that no one else speaks. Wealth is now what you no longer have to do. At 60, with $120 million, you no longer work for hours. You work for influence. One phone call from you redirects the fate of companies. You sit on boards where silence carries more weight than any shout. You are an authority, but you feel the isolation of the altitude. The world adjusts to your gravity, but you rarely forget the smell of that room where it all began. Because somewhere right now, there is another 23-year-old staring at a balance of 1142. He thinks his journey is about dollar bills. He doesn't know that wealth is actually a measure of distance. The distance between who you were and the structure you have become. Money compounds, but sacrifice does too. And in the end, what remains aren't the numbers, but the awareness that you were the architect of a life that most people only watch happen. It all started with 1142 and a decision made in the middle of a random night.